Hey guys, Claire here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. The Invictus Games Foundation issued its final report on the impact of the 2025 Invictus Games, from the amount of local jobs created, as well as the $5.5 million legacy funds which goes towards the True Patriot Love Foundation, which will help domestically within Canada, and the Invictus Games Foundation, which will provide aid to ongoing recovery and rehabilitation to the wounded, injured, and sick serving members of veterans across the world. Of course, Prince Harry made a touching statement saying, "I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone involved in making these extraordinary games possible. Most of all, the four host First Nations who welcomed us into their land. To the tens of thousands who packed the stands, I thank you for creating an unforgettable atmosphere for our competitors and their families. To everyone who gave it their all for their country and the Invictus Games, thank you and I salute you." From start to finish, there was a special kind of hospitality and energy about the games, and Canada absolutely delivered once again. Can't wait for the next Invictus Games. Now, according to People magazine, Meghan's upcoming appearance at the LA Museum's Gala has been postponed due to immigration protests. Meghan was set to be honored for her work in championing women at the National History Museum of LA. The decision to postpone the gala was made by the museum's board of trustees, leadership, and event partners, who unanimously agreed that pausing the event was the appropriate response to current community circumstances. According to the museum, they plan to host the event at a later date. Unfortunate, but with all of the unrest, I totally understand why this will be the case. No word yet on when the actual event will take place, but for now, just know that it's been postponed. Now, when it comes to the Brooke Shields saga, I heard about it and really didn't think too much about it, only because I watched the event and I didn't recall seeing or hearing anything that was off-putting or mean or weird. So when I heard that Brooke Shields allegedly said something about Meghan, it's like, is this a case of the media or people on social media trying to create some narrative to disparage Meghan by using Brooke Shields? Until I saw the video of Brooke doing that podcast, and her words really didn't match up my memory of the conversation that they had. So I went back and looked at the clip, and then I replayed the video of her at the podcast, and I felt like it was unnecessary and a little mean. I don't know why she felt the need to say those things and frame it the way that she did. It is very disappointing. It reminds me of sort of trivial high school drama. Very, very unnecessary. The podcast in question has since been deleted, but of course this is the internet, so we all have access to the video, and a lot of people have been saying, well, what she said really doesn't make sense. Now, this person under the People magazine comment section said, "The story Meghan told that Brooke found too precious was at a symposium for women, and the moderator asked Meghan to tell that story. Brooke's shady crack was made on a podcast hosted by King Charles's goddaughter." Enough said. I had never heard of the podcaster in question, never heard of her podcast, but yeah, she is apparently King Charles's goddaughter. And not only that, because this is the internet, and when you make a big splash on the internet, people do tend to dig up any sort of unsavory bits about you, and boy, did they ever. Apparently she had done some shoplifting in the past, so that was being spread around the internet as well. So maybe that and the sort of backlash towards Brooke for her comments encouraged them to delete that episode. Regan said, "As several people have pointed out, the video of the interview that Brooke was talking about on the podcast is available online, and the things that Brooke said on the podcast do not match the video, and this is probably why they took it down."
Brooke Shields tried to clown Meghan Sussex on a podcast and ended up deleting the whole thing like it never happened. Girl, if you're gonna talk slick, at least stand on it. Because let's be real, what Brooke said wasn't just shady, it was dumb. She was on Indy Hicks's podcast, yes, Charles's goddaughter, because of course, talking about a women's empowerment paddle at South by Southwest. Meghan starts talking about that classic story, the one about writing to Procter & Gamble at age 11 because she thought a commercial was sexist. You know, fighting gender stereotypes in advertising as a preteen. Small flex. And that's when Brooke chimed in like she's the authority on what women should talk about. She says Meghan was being too precious. Too serious. Like, excuse me? A woman talking about sexism at a women's panel is too serious? What were you expecting? Slapstick? She thought she was giving cool girl breaks the tension. The second the clip started going viral, the episode disappears. The link's gone. Hicks's Substack? Page not found. You don't delete a podcast unless someone's agent is on fire. Oops, I publicly trashed another woman talking about gender equality and made it all about my own childhood exploitation. Can we unpost that? Brooke Shields tried to embarrass Meghan Sussex and ended up exposing herself. Not everyone is built for a mic and a message.
Did you guys see the video of Brooke Shields being condescending with Meghan when Meghan was sharing her story that she was an activist at 11 years old, and then Brooke Shields made some like sarcastic little condescending remark? I feel like Meghan makes insecure women feel bad about themselves. So the fact that she deleted the video doesn't surprise me. I'm so glad that she got backlash and that people are kind of starting to see the light. What's that quote that says projection is confession?
Projection is confession indeed. People are still talking about Harry and Meghan's trip to Disneyland. Birdie's, the shoe brand, decided to use this as a PR opportunity, showcasing the flats worn by the Duchess.
Family meeting, Prince Harry and Meghan won the week. Actually winning at life, but let's make it bite-sized pieces. After crashing the internet for Princess Lilibet's 4th birthday, talkers me back to 1993 when Diana took her 2 boys to Disney World, shortly after the separation from now King Charles. They took the kids to Disneyland. Why is this special and significant? This embodies her freedom, also their freedom, meaning the boys, and what Harry is able to experience with his own children. Which brings me back to this picture that the Disney World Board of Directors invoked the royal clause that says 21 years after the youngest descendant of the current king, that no changes can be made. That's Princess Lilibet, who just turned 4 this week, which is remarkable. We have a proud dad and mom in ears watching their child excited to meet a Disney princess. But what's different is this Disney princess is very likely excited to meet a real life princess of him. I wonder if Miss Lilibet really knows who she really is. She knows her grandma is Diana, but does she know her grandmother was Diana, the standard, the icon, the jewel? This is such a sweet and wholesome moment that every parent who brings their child to like the princess circle experiences. But here's the thing. I don't think Lilibet really understands she is the princess, Diana's grandchild, and the namesake of legislation that kept political foes at bay. You can't make this up. So Harry and Meghan win not only the week, but at life, because they have agency over their own lives without any direct implication to their children. They are able to live and exist and be. Love that for them. And for the next generation, Diana's grandchildren.
Now, some are still talking about that Guardian article indicating that there was potential palace involvement in the delay of Archie and Lily's passport. I still can't help but chuckle because I feel like one of the main resentments when it comes to Charles and William towards Harry is not just that Harry left and he's living a life free of the institution and thriving outside of the institution, but also that Harry and Meghan are always willing to expose the sort of underhanded and sneaky and petty habits of those within the palace, namely Charles and William.
While the Rota was up in arms about a pregnant woman dancing, the Guardian dropped this little nugget. Apparently took so long for them to get British passports for their children with the HRH title and the Sussex last name that they considered changing the last name to Spencer. Getting a passport if you're rich and famous is not that hard. The standard wait time, apparently, is 3 weeks for a UK passport. It took Harry and Meghan 6 months. Harry and Meghan tried to schedule meetings, which were then canceled, claiming system failure. Why did it take 6 months to get these passports? You probably read it because I didn't bother blocking it. Charles and his people don't want those children to have those titles, and this would be a legal document approved by the government with those titles on it. These passports only got issued after Harry and Meghan's lawyer sent a letter threatening further legal action. Action that could have led to the reason for these delays being made public. The government, the passport office, and certainly not the royal family would have wanted made public. Charles might be a petty, but he really doesn't like us seeing him as one. Non-political is the royal family if they can do machinations such as having an entire government department stall passports for grandchildren. Sources are saying that Harry and Meghan wanted their titles on these passports so that in the future they can decide whether or not they want to be part of the royal family monarchy system. Why bother? Why continue to hold deference to this institution that does not see the people in it as people, but rather as commodities and products?
You think that Meghan was trying to destroy the royal family? I think she was trying to fix it as a type 1. Let's talk about it. Meghan is an Enneagram type 1, in my opinion. I think that she is a rule follower. She's an advocate for justice. I think that's why she left the royal family, is because she felt like it was not fair. I also think it was probably why she was attracted to the royal family, because as a 1, they love order, elegance. So here's why I think she's the perfectionist personality type. Meghan wrote a letter as a child to the soap company about why she didn't think it was right that they were just talking to women. And that is exactly what an Enneagram type 1 would do. As a little kid, I was not thinking about anything like that. But a type 1 would think about, that is not correct, this is correct. And I'm going to show you how to do that so that you can do it correctly. I think that's genuinely in her based on her early childhood behavior. I don't think Meghan is all about the fame. I really do think that it seemed like the perfect match. Royal family is about service, at least it looks that way. She was willing to take that role on, obviously because she loved Harry and she fell in love with him, and but not everybody would do that, but it fit exactly what she already was doing, which was serving internationally.
Now, I never paid too much attention to the royal family before Meghan married Harry, but I would have assumed, and I think similar to Meghan, that with the amount of resources and reach of the royal family, they would do so much more with the charity work. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that there are significant organizations created that have done really impactful work. Charles's Princess Trust, which I believe is now the King's Trust. Of course, we know Prince Harry's Invictus Games. Those programs changes the lives of others in a very real way. But I feel like a large majority of the charitable patronages that a lot of the royals engage in seems to be more on the fluff side. And I think Meghan approached it with a very can-do, let's make a real difference sort of attitude. And that was off-putting, not only to the royal family, because some of them, like William and Kate, may feel like it makes them look bad. And then there was that study that delved into the effectiveness of these royal patronages and realizing that more often than not, it's really not helpful. A lot of these charities had not seen their patrons in years. A lot of them ultimately ended up closing.
For many years, we've been told that royalty doesn't take sides, that people in the royal family are above politics, they are above drama, and they are above conflict. And that sounds noble, right? But let's call it what it is. Neutrality is a shield. It protects power
and it avoids accountability. Meanwhile, Prince Harry, he took a side. He defended his wife, he called out racism, and as a result of that, he lost titles, protection, and position. But he gained something more powerful. He gained credibility. Let's now flip this onto the world of luxury, because luxury brands are a bit like the royal family. They love neutrality. They stay quiet during social unrest. They observe and they support behind the scenes. So you have this neutral beige message around solidarity. But here's the thing, neutrality is not neutral when it benefits you, when it doesn't cause you anything, doesn't cost you anything. When you have a global platform and you choose to be silent, you are making a choice. As far as I'm concerned, Harry didn't do that. He disrupted the family business so he can live decent values, so he can protect his wife and children. This is not strategy. This is integrity in action. Silence doesn't protect your brand anymore like it did in the past. In fact, your silence exposes your brand because your audience is watching, and they are watching very closely. Your audience needs to know where you stand on people, on ethics, and on the future.
Okay guys, hot take. Since it's late at night and I'm working out, I think it's time to say that those who hate on Meghan Markle for no reason, and there really isn't a reason to hate on her, you're kind of weird, right? Are you mad because it wasn't you? Okay, hear me. If it wasn't her, I repeat, it definitely wasn't going to be you. Word.
It's been interesting watching all the mamas coming to Meghan's defense against the crazy conspiracies from some royal fans.
You are induced, meaning you are not in active labor and you show up to the hospital, you're allowed to freaking eat. My hospital was like, what do you want? We'll get it for you. Because they knew I wanted an epidural. So they're like, obviously you can't eat while you're on the epidural. But before, have at it. So I ate my dinner and I asked to be monitored wirelessly if I could. Not all hospitals have these. I've never heard of a wireless monitor. Not everyone is lucky to have them. But if you do go to a hospital that does, they will let you walk around wirelessly. I was able to be in the bathtub with a wireless monitor. Lastly, if you have never given birth, you are not equipped for this conversation. Show yourself out the door.
I don't understand why so many of you hate Meghan. Like, you hate her. You actually have hatred in your heart for somebody that you've never met. Like, this woman, all she has to do is breathe. She breathes out of line and you lot are onto her. And the comments I'm seeing online, the royal family would never do that. Not the royal family caught up in the Jeffrey scandal. Not the royal family who were friends and frequently partied with Jimmy Savile. Not the royal family who were adulterers. Not the royal family who treated Princess Diana like absolute. But God forbid, Harry and Meghan are in the labour room, catching a vibe, doing a challenge, the baby mama challenge from 4 years ago, and decide to share a moment online, showing their fun personalities. And the worst part of it is, look at the shape of her baby bump. They definitely used a surrogate. There's no way that she was pregnant. Are you guys, like, are you not sick? Are you unwell? First of all, you can clearly see that Meghan's got monitors around her belly, right? The moves that she's doing, those moves, first of all, the girl can dance. You lot are just jealous because you could never. Secondly, those moves are going to help the baby come out, right? She's doing all the right things. Look how happy they both look in this video. Some of you lot are so bitter. And the maddest thing is, right, 90% of you are just peeved that Harry married a woman of colour. That's what it comes down to. That's why you're so peeved. because you can't believe he went against the grain. You don't have to like Meghan. Not everybody likes everyone. Not everyone is for everyone, right? You don't need to like her. You don't need to compare her to Kate. Her and Kate are two completely different people. Kate is very calm and placid and, you know, doesn't go against the grain. Good for her. Meghan's a bit more colourful around the edges. She likes to have a bit of fun. You might not like her. She might not be your cup of tea. That's okay. Like, get a life.
I saw the video of Meghan Markle and Harry, and can I just say, I think that is the cutest thing ever. It reminds me of they are a normal couple, and why so much hatred around them? I genuinely think Princess Diana would have loved her, and I just think there's too much hatred. The word is hatred. Why do you hate someone you don't even know? We do not know the girl. Why? It's bullying behaviour. Again, I said it in my previous video, and I just think people need to give it a rest. Get on with your life. They are happy. Leave them alone. Honestly, I cannot deal with seeing the negative videos about them. It's like, leave them alone.
Do you guys not realise you are literally showing us why the woman left the country with Harry? Like, you guys are the problem. Why are you so on a stranger? And like, all these little keyboard warriors and people, I've never known someone to be so obsessed with someone they don't know. Like, you do realise that's a form of mental illness, right? She does not have any acknowledgement of your life, yet you are going and writing paragraphs and paragraphs about why you don't like her. What we're actually witnessing right here is covert racism, and people just finding reasons to hate this woman. And may I add, this woman is not even in the UK anymore. And I can't believe people are so pressed over him being with like a biracial woman. Like, is it really that deep? Like, babe, we're in the UK, we're in London. Nearly everybody's mixed here. Like, is that crazy?
And how is this the business of British media? They are no longer taxpayer funded. It doesn't matter what they spend. It's their own money.
Hey guys, some of you would remember me asking for prayers a few months back. I didn't really go into details because, well, the point of this channel is really to be a safe space or positive space to talk about Harry and Meghan. And as I'm recording this, I'm still hesitant and a little uncomfortable with talking about this. I have recently been diagnosed with stage 4 deep infiltrating endometriosis, which has become very painful. And it's complicated by the fact that I also have endometrioma. And for those of you who don't know, it's sort of like cysts, tissues that form outside of the uterus. And unfortunately, the tissues have spread to other organs. So it's not something that I can ignore, unfortunately, especially if I would like to be a mom someday. Thankfully, my insurance covers most of the surgery, but it doesn't cover everything. I still have about $4,000 in out-of-pocket costs. Some of it I have, some of it I don't. Between like ultrasound, MRI, biopsies, blood tests, IV iron infusions, it's been a lot. There's, of course, absolutely no pressure, but if you are able to or would like to help, I would really, really appreciate it. There's links in the description if you'd like to help out. And again, if you can't, there's absolutely no pressure. I would very much appreciate if you keep me in your prayers. That's always appreciated. And don't worry, I'll give you guys a heads up around my surgery date, so you'll be in the know. I'm not just gonna disappear. I'll try to keep you guys updated. I do tend to put up like community posts, but I know that everyone doesn't read those. But yeah, I'll let you guys know. So yeah, wherever you guys are, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.